Hello my friends, I'm Frankie and welcome to Club Foodie. You don't need a bread machine to make buns or bread. On the website, there's baguettes, hamburger or hot dog buns, artisan bread, and many more. Now, let's add another one, onion buns. If you like onions, then you'll really love these. They're easy to make and perfect for burgers. Or, if you prefer, turn this recipe into a loaf of bread. So let's get cooking. In a skillet over medium heat, we'll add butter. And when it's melted and starts sizzling, we'll add onions. I'm using yellow, but white is another option. And sprinkle on a little bit of ground sea salt. We'll saute them until soft, stirring often. Now, because we want to caramelize them a little bit, when they start getting translucent, which should take about 3 to 4 minutes, we'll reduce the heat to medium-low and continue cooking. This step should take anywhere from 13 to 15 minutes. Again, we're not caramelizing them all the way, just halfway. Meanwhile, in a bowl of a stand mixer, we'll add active dry yeast, some lukewarm water, and honey, because yeast loves sugar. Recently, a subscriber asked me why add honey or white sugar to the yeast. Therefore, I explained what it really does on the blog, so have a look. We'll give a quick stir and let it proof for 10 minutes. We're multitasking here, and we'll also look after the dry ingredients while sauteing our onions. Let's not forget about them. In a medium bowl, we'll combine bread flour, dehydrated minced onions, which is an ingredient I use when making my meatloaf or my onion chip dip, some dried oregano leaves, and ground sea salt. We'll whisk until the ingredients are nicely blended and set aside. Back to our onions. When time is up, we'll remove from the heat, transfer them to a small bowl, and allow to cool for 5 minutes. Now that the yeast is alive, we'll add the dry ingredients, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and the sauteed onions that add time to cool off a little. Using the dough hook attachment, we'll process at first on speed 2 for 2 minutes before increasing to speed 3. We'll mix until the dough clings around the hook, stopping and cleaning the sides and the bottom of the bowl with a spatula. To help the dough cling around the hook, in many of my bread recipes, I add a tablespoon of flour at a time. But in this one, it doesn't need it. Otherwise, the dough will get way too dry. Now, when it does cling, and yes, it will still be sticky, we'll increase the speed to 4 and knead it for 4 minutes. When time is up, like I said, the dough will be very sticky and it's okay. So what we'll do is to oil our hands, take the dough out, and form a ball by pulling it under. We'll place the dough in a bowl that has been greased with oil and toss it around to coat. We'll cover with a clean dish towel and transfer to a draft-free area like the oven without the heat on, of course. We'll let it rise for 1.5 hours or until it doubles in size. Later on, we'll remove from its spot, and by the way, it smells amazing. We'll knock the air out a couple times and drop the dough on a lightly floured work surface. Now, there are 2 ways to go, either making a loaf of bread or buns. For the loaf, the dough can be simply folded under and placed in a lightly greased loaf pan, or it can also be lined with parchment paper. And to see how to do it, The link is on the top right corner of your screen. The other way is to make buns, and that is what I'll be showing you. So, we'll spread out the dough into a rectangular shape to about 1 foot long by 5 inches wide. And if it starts to retract, we'll let the gluten relax for a couple minutes. Then, using a bench scraper, we'll cut it in half, and then each half in half, and finally, half again widthwise. This recipe makes 8 large hamburger buns, but it can always be cut into smaller pieces. Next, we'll form a ball with each piece by pulling the dough under, pinching and twisting the bottom just like I'm doing right now. And we'll end up with a nice ball of dough. Easy peasy, right? So when they're all done, we'll gently stretch each of them into a disc about 1/2 inch thick and place them on a baking sheet lined with either a silicone mat or parchment paper. We'll cover again with the same dish towel and place it back in a draft-free spot to proof for 1 hour. And the same applies for the loaf of bread. For the buns, make sure the towel is not tucked under, otherwise they won't rise. 60 minutes later, we'll remove them from their spot, and look how beautiful they are, all nice and puffy. We'll carefully brush and egg wash on each bun. Be gentle, otherwise they might deflate. And if we're making a loaf, the same applies, okay? Next, we'll sprinkle some finely chopped onions on top of the buns, and for the bread, we can put thinly sliced ones instead. We'll now transfer them to a 375-degree preheated oven and bake for 25 minutes or until golden brown. And it's about the same baking time when it comes to the bread. When time is up, we'll remove from the heat to a wire rack and let them cool completely before slicing. And my friends, these are our onion buns. Incredibly delicious, these flavorful buns are perfect for sandwiches as well as a food vessel for your burgers. It's a great recipe to add to your folder. I hope you give them a try soon, and be sure to visit clubfoodie.com for ingredient amounts, directions, and more info. Until next time, my friends, bon appétit!